Hi guys, just thought I'd show you a quick project I'm working on. I'm just trying out a little tutorial for you. Well, not really a tutorial. I'm not practiced at tutorials to call it a tutorial. It's more of a process video, I suppose. But I hope you get a tip out of it anyway. So what I've done is had these dried flowers, and they're just lavenders, and I've had them in my folder for a while, and I just thought I'd make use of them. And I saw Nina Ribena's video quite a while ago, and she was using baking paper to seal in her dried flowers. And at the time I was doing some stuff with trying to make these cabinet cards. I'll just show you, hold on a sec. These cabinet cards, a bit more vintage with, these are the Tim Holtz vintage cabinet cards, and I just wanted to make them a bit more vintage with some the napkin backing, and I did that. And then at the time I was watching Nina Ribena's video, and I thought, oh, maybe I could use that to seal in the flowers and see what happens. And now I'll link Nina Ribena's video in the description, of course, and you can see what she did, and I'll show you what I did. So these are just little bookmarks, and I've backed them just with some scrapbook paper, aged them up, and that was the first one I did. I was just practicing. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, cut it or what, and that came out quite textured because I wrinkled the napkin backing. But these ones I ended up getting a bit more smooth, but you've still got some texture, and I've used watercolour paper, so there's a bit of glue there which I can sand off. I've used watercolour paper, so there's texture there as well. And this particular napkin that I'm using, the first layer of napkin has got a bit of the print showing, so that's given a little bit more colour to it. And then I popped a rivet in there and some sari trim, as you do. So I'll just show you what I did, and just in case it's not clear. So I got my Mod Podge, and it's a matte Mod Podge. You could probably use matte medium or anything like that. I've got a water jar here, so it's a nice wet brush, and I am going to do 3 at once. And then I first of all just painted the whole thing with quite a good amount. And it doesn't really matter how perfect you get it at the start, because you're just going to be placing your flowers at first. And then you'll go over it again probably before you put your napkin on. And my brush needs cleaning because I'm getting fluff in it, but it doesn't matter for this project because it's kind of oldie worldy anyway. What am I going to put this? Rest this on. I'm going to rest this on over here. There we go. And then I just place these. Now these are 1.5 inches wide, and I don't know how tall. You can make them however tall you want. And they're 15 centimetres long. And what is that in inches? I should have got my inch ruler. Okay, 6 inches long, around about. Doesn't have to be precise. Now I'm just placing those, and you want to leave enough gap to put your rivet in the top, because you don't want to be putting the rivet, or eyelet, whatever you call it, through the flowers. So you just want to bring those down. Now, if you've made the bookmarks a little bit wider, of course you could fit 3 on, but I've just made it 2 for this. Now, I'm just placing the flowers so they stay. It would look gorgeous with any dried flowers you've got, of course. This one, maybe this one. I've left the glue a bit long, so we'll just get a bit more. Put that on top. Put some more glue here where I'm going to place the flower. It's probably nice to just let those flowers cross. Getting a lot of these flowers are a little bit old, so maybe that's why they're pinging all over the place. Been hanging around in my art journal for ages. Every time I open my art journal, they fall out, so it's good to use them. And then we're going to get our napkin. And using Crafty Irena's trick for getting the backing off if I need to, but usually it comes off for me. Just want to get this one with that backing to it. The bit of the print is showing through. Ugh. Not working. Of course it's not working on camera, is it? But if you do have a problem like that, you can use Crafty Irena's trick with the sellotape. But yeah, this is a beautiful napkin, and serviette, we call them in New Zealand. I watch so many American videos that I now call them napkins, which is hilarious. I used to tell my daughter off for speaking American when we're actually from New Zealand, so that's quite funny. I'm doing it too. And yeah, so can you see that? It's picking up some of that print, so it's got a little bit of a shadow print to it. So now I'm going to get this. Actually, I'm going to move it onto some parchment paper so that I can pull the whole lot over when I've finished. Should have done that in the first place. Now I've broken my flower. That's okay, it can always be fixed, can't it? Nope, maybe not. Okay, a bit more glue. This one in there too. Right, now I'm going to put some more glue all over again. Now of course if you knew exactly where your flowers were going to be placed, you wouldn't have needed to coat the whole thing the first time. Just be careful of the flowers. Now that is picking up some of the ink I've got on that parchment paper, but that's absolutely fine because I'm going to distress it later anyway, so I don't mind that. Little bit on this one. Yeah, so this is parchment paper, so it's going to come off if it gets stuck. Now, around the edge where you've got your texture where it holds on to the printed napkin, you don't want to use that bit, you want to use the flat bit in the middle. So I'm just going to lay that down. Doesn't matter if you get some wrinkles. And try and get it a little bit straight because it's got slight print on it. And you could do this with the right napkin. the print itself, I'm sure. And again, if you want that texture, you can wrinkle it up on purpose. And I think I'm going to get a bit of wrinkling on that one, but that's fine. And then you just put some more on the top, very gently, pressing around the flowers gently, just so that you can seal them up. So it's just a nice way to seal the flowers. And you've got that layer of napkin, which is helping, so it's not just glue on the flowers. And it's not acetate or anything, so it's less plasticky, if you get me. So it's just an option. I'm doing some plasticky type ones as well at the moment, so I like them both, but this is just an option. So I'm just going to press that down a little bit more. Put my glue on the top and just go gently, because otherwise you'll rip the napkin serviette backing. Nice, good amount of glue. Yeah, these ones are wrinkling up more, I think. And that's absolutely fine, because that's giving the texture and that aged look that we all love. And then just pressing around the flowers themselves so that you can get more of the texture showing and no rips later when it dries. Pressing, pressing, pressing. No need to be too fussy, but just do your best. And if your napkin does happen to tear, that's absolutely fine. You can just stick another piece on top. That hasn't happened to me at the moment, so we're all good. But you can just put another piece right on top or leave it. It's fine. Now I've done it on watercolour paper just because I thought it might need to soak up the glue and water, because I had quite a wet brush the first time I did it. But you could do it on any sort of scrapbook paper or any sort of card, anything you like, of course. Just give it a go. Now, I haven't seen this done before quite like this, but as I say, it was Crafty Irina that popped the idea into my head when she was doing it with baking paper. And that little piece there, I'll just leave that to dry, probably overnight, because we don't need to see it dry, because I've got another one to show you that I did earlier. And here it is. So that's all dry, and it's got, like I say, that nice texture. The flowers are sealed, and you can see a bit of the colour coming through because the napkin is clear, or pretty much clear. It's just got that ghosting on it. And then you can just rip this down here, or you can cut it, whichever you prefer. I'm okay with this. If you really like a smooth edge, you can grab a emery board or a filing block. And what I use is just these nail salon filing blocks, and I bought these in bulk from a Trade Me seller, and they come in a packet of maybe a dozen, and they were like $8 or $9, I think, on Trade Me from memory. So I just use that to get rid of my edges. I've seen them sold in craft shops for extraordinary amounts, but all they are is nail salon, nail technician filing boards, filing blocks. And then you could leave that back plain because it's plain, but I decided to cover it up with some scrapbook paper. So I've cut that to the same length, same width I mean. Gosh, I can't pick it up. And then I'll just roughly sort of measure that and then cut that with my scissors. That's about right. And I'm going to put the lid on my Mod Podge. Use my Fabri-Tac just because it's two different weight card stocks. One's watercolour, heavy watercolour paper, and one's the thin type of scrapbook paper. I got this bottle, by the way, the bottle idea off Tracy Fox, Sweet Sugar Belle. I think she got the idea off someone else, but I can't remember who right off the top of my head. But if you look up those Sweet Sugar Belle icing, piping bottles, they're awesome. They're really awesome. Only trouble is I couldn't get small bottles. I could only get the big ones, and they can sometimes have to wait for all the air to go to the top. Anyway, I digress. So I've got this, and it's pretty lined up, but for some reason it's turned out a bit smaller, but that's okay because I'm going to distress it. But if that bothered you, you could just trim that down. Now, at this point, you want to decide whether you want the corners rounded or not, and if you do, now's the time to do it before you put your rivet in because it is quite skinny, so that can, get in your way of your corner rounding. So decide whether you want corner rounded or not. I wouldn't put that in a journal for anybody else. That's just me. It's totally imbalanced with the little pansy up there, but yeah. Anyway, so now's when we put our hole in, and I have got my great big crocodile, and I'm going to put it on the 3/16, and I'm going to line it up roughly. Excuse me, I'll just see if it's right. Yep, it'll do. That will do, I think. I hope. Nope. It's hard to do when you try not to get your head in the camera, guys. Is that right? That'll do. Okay, down. And then I've chosen a gold one, and I got a packet of these mixed little eyelets from the local art shop, but you can get them anywhere. Spotlight or Amazon or whatever. Oh, gotta move it over. And the trick what I found with those is that you don't press it down too far, otherwise that's when you get really sharp edges. Then that's when I would distress, and I just go around the edges. to where you like it. And then on the back side, I like to do it this way. So just using my Teflon mat. I don't really like to go around the edges like that on the back side because I'm distressing this scrapbook paper as well and giving it a little bit more of the aged look. So this is how I do it. Kind of following Tim Holtz, I guess. He doesn't go like this. He thinks that's silly, but on this side I'm just giving it a border, so I don't mind that. And then when I've got all my ink off, I'm just going to lightly, very lightly, just go over the flowers and whatever catches some of the ink there, but not too much. And then I'm going to put some sari ribbon through, and that's it. Bob's your uncle. So I'd love to know what you thought of this project. It's my first ever tutorial. If it's filmed okay, I will post it. Otherwise, I might leave it out. Very, very first time. So I'd love to see what you thought. Please leave me a comment. Give me some encouragement if you did like it. And don't forget to click subscribe if you would like to see more videos. I'll hopefully have a flip through for you soon, and catch you next time, guys. Bye.